there's a handful of things that can immediately change how a car looks and feels, and that's exactly what we're gonna be doing today. The 23 WRX, while I love it in stock, while I like it in stock form, I should say that, it needs a little bit of love and it needs a little bit of attention. So we're gonna be giving it that today. 3 main things that can overall just entirely change how a car feels and how you feel about it. That's looks, exhaust, and suspension. We're gonna be doing all that today. So the first thing on the docket this morning is we are gonna go get this thing dropped off for tint. There's one thing I absolutely despise, and that is fishbowl windows. I like my privacy when driving. I think that window tint changes the overall look of a car entirely, and that'll honestly dramatically change how I feel about this thing. Hello, RX-7, you're looking beautiful today. So I'd say let's get a cold start on this thing. It doesn't really sound like anything, so I guess we'll just do it anyways. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh yeah, so loud. That's a little bit too quiet for me. First step on our agenda, let's go get this thing tinted. SC window tinting, baby! By the time we pick this thing up, it should look, I mean, it will look way better. We also have a sport grille out for delivery on this thing. We have carbon fiber lip kit coming for it. Not here yet, not out for delivery yet, but it is coming. This pole is like right in the way, but doop, we're gonna fix that. Just give them one full choose.
No, I just want to drive the speed limit and listen to Halloween music.
What? Halloween music? It's June! Phase 1 of stage 1 of making this thing look better is complete. We picked up the WRX, the windows are tinted, and this thing looks miles better than it. There's something just about window tint that just changes a car completely. You know what I mean? It just gives you like that little extra like security barrier so people can't see in the car. But dude, I dig it. Next up, we gotta lower it, make it look better, make it sound better. So I gotta get the FD out of the garage, get the hood put back on it, and then we can get our WRX here pulled in. With our WRX in the garage, let's go over where we're gonna be starting with it. I think we're gonna start with the biggest of the boxes and then work our way down to the smaller ones. And then we'll get the car out of the garage, see what it looks like in the real world in comparison to what it looks like now. Because I don't really need to show you guys what it looks like now. It's a stock WRX with window tint. Sticking with stage 1, I think we're going to jump to the exterior stuff first, and then we'll get to the suspension, and then we'll get to the exhaust. So I want to give a shout out to a couple companies first. WRX Daily is a huge one. Dude's been supporting us for a long time. He sent over a set of BC Racing coilovers and Perrin 20mm wheel spacers. So that way, once we lower this thing, we don't have incredibly sunken in wheels, because that is one thing that just personally bothers me when people do suspension on their car. At least get some wheel spacers to go with the stock wheels to make it look just a little bit better. On top of that, I want to give a huge shout out to JD Muscle. They sent up a third brake light. I got the red lens with the red backing, the sport grille that they make, and then their version of the titanium exhaust. So we'll see how that sounds on the car also. We'll get some flybys, we'll get some revs, we'll get all the good stuff with it. We're gonna start off with the exterior mod, so we'll do the front grille and the third brake light to start with. I will walk you guys through how to do all this stuff. I'm not going to do it as a step-by-step install, because for the most part it's going to be pretty simple. So step 1, we're going to have to take this bumper off. Super easy. So I got the grill on. It was pretty easy. It's standard. To take the bumper off, I'll cover that. You got to take off all of the bolts and clips on the flap you do. There's 2 clips on each side, and then there's about 11 pop clips. Just follow the brim of the bumper and you'll see all the pop clips. Like, they all just run right along the brim of the bumper right there. And then to get the grill off, as you guys saw, it's just a couple screws and then some tabs and it'll pop right out. Now, I like this grill, but it absolutely needs an emblem. So it looks too empty. I'll get an emblem ordered for that little adapter and I'll put that in just to clean up the front end. It'll just be an OEM blue emblem, but it looks good. It looks better than stock. It does promote more airflow. It's just, it looks so empty. Next up, to eliminate some more boxes, I actually say we jump over to the titanium catback. So let's get that thing opened up real quick. We'll get that tossed on the car. Let me move this third brake light. So I've got the catback all opened up here. As you guys can see, it's legit pretty much a Tomei. It's JD Muscle's version of a Tomei. It is titanium. It doesn't weigh literally anything. You get the axle back portion, the mid pipe, and then the secondary mid pipe here. The welds, they all look like machine welds. The person definitely did not do those, but I mean, it feels great. You get the exhaust hanger, the 2 clamps for it. So let's go under the car. I'll show you how to take off the stock exhaust. We'll toss this one on. I will say, dude, it's so nice working on a car that is not just covered in like old oil. So we have muffler here, Y pipe, muffler here. The 2 mufflers are held on by 2 14s, and then it's gonna be 2 12 mils up there, or a 12 and a 14. Subaru likes to mix it up a little bit with how they hold this on. So I mean, diameter wise, 2.5 inch, 2 inch, something like that, down to like 1.5 inch here. So it will definitely wake the car up. What a muffler. We are jumping over to phase 2 of making the WRX sound better. Ugh. The easiest way to do exhaust hangers is WD-40 and an exhaust hanger tool, because you can just slide it all in there together. To be able to get it all out, just spray the hanger with a little bit of WD-40. On newer cars, it's not really as big of a problem. On older cars, it's much more annoying. And then you can just separate them out. There we go. There's 2. It's not too hard to get on. To go on like that. Okay, yeah, so that will go on like that. So put you in your exhaust hanger. Only gripe I have with this thing, and it's purely personal opinion, is I wish that it was not a burnt tip exhaust. That is my only gripe with it, and I know it's kind of hard to see in this light right now, but I'm just a fan of like the natural colored, either stainless steel or titanium. That's just my preferred preference, but let's start it up, see how it sounds. I'm assuming it's gonna sound way better than OEM did. You know, that actually ain't bad. I was expecting it to be a lot louder. Maybe it could be outside of the garage, who knows, but for now, it ain't bad. I actually might steel wool all of that to get the blue tip off and make it rock colored. We'll do that later though, I'm not worried about that, but sick! Next up on our to-do list is coilovers. Now, if you don't know how to do coilovers, I will walk you through how to do one front and one rear, and then I'm gonna time lapse it. Subarus from 2008 plus are pretty much the exact same suspension setup on all of them. I did notice on the WRX with the BC Racing coilovers, they do give you end links, so this is kind of similar to FRS BRZ stuff, where you have a long front end link and then they give you a replacement one. Since you're lowering the car, it just wouldn't reach. So, once again, huge shout out to WRX Daily again on these coilovers, and for the wheel spacers, it's really gonna clean up the look of the car. I'll link all this stuff down below for you guys also if these are any modifications you're looking for. I feel like there's a dog hair on my face right now, so let's get to doing some coilovers. We'll start out on the front right. One more thing, because this confused me. If you're new to cars, this confused me when I was first doing them. The coilovers are labeled left and right, okay? That left and right is from if you're sitting in the driver's seat. Left side of the car is the driver's side, right side is the passenger side. So it's not if you're looking at the car, then left side would be passenger side. Left side is driver's side, right side is passenger side. Step 1, remove wheel, 19 millimeter or 3/4. Oh my God, dude, stock wheels are heavy. Now, one thing I want to tell you before you start pulling things off of this is this top nut and bolt right here. This is an eccentric bolt. If you don't know what that means, it has a lobe on it. So as you spin that bolt, it will adjust the camber on this, and that is not something that we want to do. So what I'm gonna do is take a Sharpie and mark on the bolt where they line up, so that way I can reline them up after I'm done. So that'll keep my alignment somewhat the same. So the first thing that we need to do before we start pulling all these nuts and everything off is disconnect this end link, get this end link out of here. There's normally, and there is on these, there's a small Allen key on the inside nut of them, or the inside stud, and then there's a nut. If you go to take these off and it just spins, you're gonna have to put an Allen key in there and use a wrench like this. But before we get to that, let's pull off the ABS guy and the brake line and get those out of the way. Sick. All right, those two are out of the way. Now for the end link, which I'm guessing that's a 17. Now we've got our end link out of there, and the end link just connects the sway bar to the coilover or the shock, so that way it transfers weight between the two of them. So now that we've got those off, what we can do is go ahead and pull out the shock tower assembly. I like to start on these two bottom bolts. They're both 19s. Tap that guy out. Now, this is what I was talking about. It's lobed right here, so that's what adjusts camber on stock setups. The other thing that you want to keep in mind with this is make sure you have both of the front, just make sure you have the front end jacked up, so that way you got the front left and the front right free to just dingle dangle like this. Now, it can pop the axle out if you let this dingle dangle too far down. What I like to do is just support this with like a jack. Do you have to support it with a jack? No, you don't, but I don't like to have to do a transmission service just because I decided to swap coilovers. So now we can go ahead and tap that guy out, pull that bolt out, and then see, it just lets it chill right there. And then I can lower this down a little bit. Now we're gonna jump up top, undo the 3 nuts, and then we can swap out this guy. So, stock one is out. Okay, so needs to be perpendicular, not parallel. So it needs to go left and right, not diagonal in any way, because the way that you adjust camber on this is in and out. Do not install that. It's not gonna hurt anything if you install it wrong, but there is a wrong way to install it. This is the right way to install it. So now that this guy's in here, we can jump back down here and start doing the reverse. Now I'm not gonna start changing the height or anything until we have all 4 of them in and I see it on the ground with the wheel spacers, because you don't wanna start adjusting these and you have no idea where the car is going to sit. So typically I like to install them all, get the car back on the ground, take a peek at it, see what's going on with it, and then go from there. So we've got the fronts all done. We've got the 20 mil wheel spacers, and as you can see, they make the wheels sit nice and flush with the fender. We got our end links put back up in there. Camber is set to neutral. We haven't messed with damping yet. We'll do that in a little bit. Now for the rears, it's a little bit different. I'd say it's a little bit easier. Down here, you've got your end link, sway bar, shock, your hub mount here, and then back there you've got where it mounts to the subframe. Now on these, all you gotta do is take out 1, 2, 3, swing this arm down, go up into the trunk, and pull out the 2 nuts that hold this guy up there. So we can leave, we'll just fold this guy back for now. We're gonna have to go in here and pop out these side panels to be able to gain access down there where the coilover is going to mount up. So let's pop out these guys, get access to the coilovers. I thought they had it so that way you could just kind of access them, but maybe I'm crazy. Am I crazy? Can I just pop you off? Arm, you just swing it down like that to be able to do this. So let me go do this to the other side real quick, and then we can just pop out both of these shocks, get the coilovers in, and then put this thing back on the ground with the wheel spacers and see what it looks like. Then all we have left is the F1 brake light, and then we can pull this thing out and see what it is. Honestly, the ride height that it's at, which is the default height that came out of the box, I think is like solid as a daily driver. It's not slammed on its nuts. It's got 1.5 finger wheel gap. The wheels are now flush with the fender also, which makes it look incredibly better. Like, a lot of the little gripes I had with the car are getting fixed with what we're doing right now. Let me show you, because it looks, dude, I like it. I'm starting to like the car a lot more. I know some people are still gonna sit here and say they hate it, but I think it's getting better. So overall, 20mm wheel spacers are absolutely perfect for this thing. Once again, huge shout out to WRX Daily for sending over these coilovers and these wheel spacers. We got about 1.5 fingers each. Once we actually get wheels for the car, we'll adjust the coilovers to fit the wheels, but I think you always need to do suspension before you do wheels on a car. Otherwise, the wheels you get just look a little funky. But dude, that actually is looking better. We have a carbon fiber front lip, side skirts, and rear spats coming for it, which I think will improve it a little bit more, and some JDM STI goodness for the front end. But now we're gonna give the back end a little bit of love with that F1 fog light to replace this little bezel right here, which I'll walk you guys through. For the most part, it's pretty simple. They give you the fog light, they give you the brackets, the hardware, the wiring harnesses, and the plug and play adapter and everything you need. So I'll probably still pull up their instructions to see what wires they want me to tap into, but for the most part, it looks honestly pretty self-explanatory. So what we need to do is come in and pop out these 4 pop clips that hold the bottom of the bumper to the chassis. Once we have that, we can slide this back a little bit, reach our little grimy fingers up in there, get that guy out, slide in the new one, put the bracket on it, and bolt the bracket down, and then we can run the wiring from in here up to the trunk. And then they give us this little plug and play adapter to plug in between the taillight harness, and then these wires here is what we're going to tap into from this harness, which will go into that guy, so that way we don't have to cut any of our own wiring. So makes things kind of nice. I'm probably just going to time lapse through putting this thing in just so I can get it done with. Give this thing pushed out. I want to give it a wash real quick, and then we can get some sound clips, some video, and all the cool stuff of how this thing actually looks. This guy open, and we go boop boop, lights on. Come back here, we got a third brake light, you guys. Sick. Honestly, I dig it. Honestly, I'm starting to like it. I think it's looking pretty good, actually. The sport grille does add a nice effect. The wheel spacers and lowering it definitely changes the look. The tint makes a huge impact on the car. I have a couple other parts on the way, like I said, carbon front lip, carbon side skirt extensions, carbon rear spats, OEM vortex generator. Honestly, the exhaust really doesn't sound that bad. The third brake light definitely adds a nice touch to the rear end, but the bumper still looks like a diaper in my opinion. But dude, I'm about it. Let me give this thing its first wash, actually. I've never cleaned this car. Do you still hate them? You've never hated them. I know.
Absolutely.
I know. Matt's never hated them. Honestly, it's growing on me a lot more than I thought it would. Matt's always not hated them.
I think this part I can do without, but...
The rear bumper. The front section, making the wheels tip flush, swapping out the grill, tinting the windows, honestly, I feel like changed the entire car. Today's mission, I feel like, was a success.
It like was a mild but severe change in a matter of hours.
Like, it was bassy with the stock exhaust.
Oh, I can hear you leave or come back.
It was like
you
so
could literally
quiet.
Stealth your way through that.
Right? Now, once the lip, the side skirts, the rear spats come in, I think it'll drastically make a huge improvement also. Because just adding a lip alone to a car, it changes the entire dynamic of it.
Did you wash it?
Yeah, I just washed it too. I gave it a quick wash.
You just got tin.
So, I didn't wash the inside. It's not like I sprayed the inside of the car. What, you can't wash your car after you get window tint?
No, you're supposed to wait a couple days.
What? They didn't tell me that. They just said I couldn't roll down the window.
You normally wait a couple days to wash it. Because the like condensation from washing it can...
Well, it's a good thing it's warranted. It's a good thing the tint's warranted.
This didn't happen. He didn't wash it. If you're the tint guys, he did not wash it.
Today, Melanie and I had to go down to Subaru this morning The infotainment in the car stopped working last night. Like, it worked, but it didn't work, if that makes sense. The whole touchscreen display stopped responding to touch. Like, I could still control it with like the steering wheel controls and everything like that. So we got the update and it changed a couple things on it, which I like the heated seats and some other controls, but I'm not gonna get too much into that right now. We also had to buy a new tire because apparently I ran over a nail or a screw and it was right on the sidewall of the tire, so it couldn't be repaired. So I had to get new tire walls down there. Luckily we only have like 400 miles on the car, so we could just get one. But we'll go out and get some sound clips. But like inside, it's like, I feel like it's not bad. The modifications that we've done to the car in this video have significantly changed how I feel about it, and I actually like it now. Both styling and how it like handles and drives that. Like the coilovers alone make the car feel so much sportier. The window tint adds a nice, like even from like the interior of the car, makes it feel way better. It's A, it's cooler, B, it's darker in here, and C, no one can see me pick my nose in here now. You shy of the camera?
Yeah.
Why? You've done live streams before though. What's the difference? What?
Yeah, I've done live streams to no one.
I watched.
To Fox, one person.
I watched. I just got done editing that portion with the flybys. That car is way quieter than I thought. It's like the perfect level. It's not like too quiet, if you know what I'm saying, but that's all I got for right now on the WRX. This got dropped off today, which is a unreleased Perrin rear sway bar that we'll be tossing on the WRX in the next iteration of modifications that we do to it, which should be some more exterior stuff, some more suspension, some more performance stuff. In the meantime, while we wait for more modifications to come in, I am gonna keep going on the RX-7 because I wanna get this car running. The Rywire mil-spec engine harness and the Haltech Elite 2500 get dropped off for this car tomorrow, as well as some other parts. I just got the battery relocation stuff, the OMP deletes, whole bunch of stuff going on with the RX-7. The engine for blue is shipping out tomorrow, I believe. I talked to Jeremy and he said it would be shipping out this week. Fingers crossed on that, because I really like to get my STI back up and running, but that's all I got for you guys on this one. My opinion on the WRX is changing. The more we modify this car and the more I drive it and enjoy it, it's honestly a really good daily driver. I think after you do some basic modifications to it, it looks 1,000 times better. Once those front lip and all that stuff comes in, I think it'll just be the coup de grace and make it look even better. But like I said, that's all I got for you guys on this one. So if you liked the video, if you like the 23 WRX content, let me know. I'll make some more videos with the new WRX and we'll keep the ball rolling. But if you guys liked the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver sign, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, put in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.